been thinking.
Okay.
Our story today kicks off in the modest apartment of John and Karen. From the beginning, we see Karen replying very rudely to her husband after he asks her for the groceries. Just that question alone sends her off to get away from the kitchen just to avoid John. A bit later, as John was watching the TV, Karen sat at the edge of the sofa as the TV was broadcasting a warning to viewers, urging people to listen and avoid social media because there is a lot of misinformation going on about some virus that's been raging on and spreading like wildfire. John sees it and thinks that it's probably some pharmaceutical company trying to cash in, but Karen seems more concerned with something that's troubling her. She attempts to tell John, but before saying anything, she lets it go, and the night turns to day. Morning is all the same, as Karen can't stand the sight of her husband. Going inside the bathroom, John just stands there in awe as something flying from the sky breaks through the roof. He then hears a very loud bang outside, chaos and sirens. Karen attempts to talk to him again, and this time she finishes her sentence saying, "I want to get a divorce." Meanwhile, outside, it was pandemonium as John sees a huge plane that just crashed against the building across theirs.
Guess it was just a matter of time.
Some people take photos, and as he was looking around, he notices people acting all crazy and then biting other people as if they were zombies. He goes back inside and tells Karen what's going on, and she couldn't believe it. But in a short while, the TV confirms their suspicion. Apparently, there is a freaking zombie invasion going on, as infected people now roam the streets, eating other people. The TV tells them to ration food and supplies, but looking into all the assets they have, John is sent into a panic as they had such little food to eat. After puking his guts out, Karen comes up with an idea, and the idea is for John to go from apartment to apartment and loot their neighbors for food and supplies. Luckily, nothing happens to John, and he comes back with a plastic bag full of goods. All this somehow excites Karen a little, and she decides to do a little looting herself. It is here that John notices all the moving boxes that his wife got, and he puts two and two together and then realizes that Karen was going to leave him. He confronts her, and she tells him the truth. But in the midst of this atrocity, both of them didn't have time to focus on the very complicated and elaborate marital problems they have been having. And so they continue to loot, and Karen tells John to go get the TV from their neighbors as it was much bigger than theirs. Staying indoors and trying to follow all the emergency broadcasts they can, they begin to follow the rules and put a big X on their window so that a rescue team can come get them. John was not really up for any of it, but Karen seems to be enjoying this as she goes looting on her own and gets supplies that she does not even need, like a pink dress that she saw and liked.
You're kidding.
For now, they have food, supplies, and apparently clothes, but the threat still looms over them. The infected people can still attempt to get in, says John, but Karen simply replies by saying they will defend themselves. They then use household supplies and practice self-defense techniques. The radio says that the government is trying everything it can, and people should stay inside, keep themselves busy, and avoid panic. And so, following suit, the couple play cards as Karen goes on about how they are doomed and talks about their problems.
That everything will probably be okay.
John tries his best to calm down his wife, but to no avail. We see Karen having an outburst and then drinking wine to numb her pain away. Her pain came not from the zombies outside or the fact that they can't leave their apartment, but from the reason why they had the worst marriage for about a year now.
Haven't you noticed that I've been reading the same goddamn magazines over and over again?
Apparently, the couple lost a child, a daughter, and it's been the elephant in the room all along. Karen keeps drinking and begins to grieve her lost would-be daughter.
I just wanted to see her grow.
Things turn inward as Karen begins to think about their end in the middle of all the madness outside. But John remains strong, and he motivated his wife.
We're gonna get through this.
He explained that they will go through this and that they will practice for survival. And so the couple begin training and working out, doing cardio in the house, and preparing for the worst to come. In a bit, they come face to face with a zombie in the hallway, which sends shivers down their spine. Trying to ease the nerves, John craves a cigarette and feels quite sad that he can't get any. But apparently, Karen has been hiding a secret in the kitchen. an array of many, many drugs, including cigarettes that she stole from the police station where she works. She then goes on to do coke in front of her husband and encourages and forces him to do it too. Things didn't end there. Karen also brought home a gun, which John accidentally discharged in the morning, waking Karen and pissing her off.
My mother gave me that.
During breakfast, John says that they need to prepare more for the long haul. They set up traps outside and make Molotov cocktails and flour under the counter just in case they need to blind one of the zombies. Their training continues, but this time it's fueled by the power of coke. To their surprise, though, they get a knock on the door from their neighbors, the Andersons, who seem to be doing okay but pretty desperate to come into their house for shelter.
Would you mind if we come in?
We could.
Yeah, if it's convenient. Yeah.
The Andersons spotted the broken glass on their doorstep, which John and Karen put as traps, and knew someone was there. While inside, the Andersons ask for food, and after eating, we notice that Karen really wishes for them to leave since they don't have extra food to share. She confronts them about leaving, and the Andersons say they would leave if asked, but everyone was awkward and nobody really comes out and says anything. At first, things were nice, but Karen and Emily never really got along. So Karen and John devise a plan to make Emily and her husband Leo uncomfortable enough into leaving by pretending to make love very loudly. But Emily was not coy and decides she was not going to be thrown out and does the same thing and plays along. In the morning, you can cut the tension with a knife, and after breakfast, Karen steps up and confronts the couple, saying they can now start contributing to the house since they said they would do that the first time they got there. Karen tells Emily to clean and for Leo to clean and organize their socks. While in the kitchen, Emily had a realization that at some point, it's going to come down to one of the couples taking out the other.
Pretty soon we're gonna have to act.
Leo was not really seeing it that way since this was not his house, and he was thankful to be there. But his wife changes his mind.
To them. Or us.
This entire thing was very degrading to Emily as they did all the embarrassing chores. Karen and John sat watching a movie. The couple comes up with a plan and decides to overpower John and Karen in their sleep and then snuff them out. Going back inside the living room, though, they see an opportunity to strike as the couple slept watching the movie. And as Leo and his wife talk, Karen hears them saying, "We should do it now."
Should we do it now?
Realizing what's going on, Karen decides to take matters into her own hands and tells the Andersons that she will make them cookies. And at this point, it was on. In the kitchen, Karen tells her husband that they need to act, and she bakes the cookies. Even though the Andersons were skeptical, they could not say no to the food since they thought she would not drug them. But unfortunately for them, Karen decided to go into her drug stash and put all the amphetamine she had in the cookies.
Well, what's the secret ingredient?
It did not take long until it kicked in, and the Andersons, acting very, very jumpy and weird, and before they knew it, they both went into shock, and so did John and Karen when they realized that they may have killed the Andersons.
Your throat? Do you have something?
As they were reflecting on what they just did, they heard a sound coming from the living room. Going to see what's what, John sees Leo up and standing, looking confused. Apparently, he was not really alive, but dead because Leo was infected. Seeing this, Karen did not think twice as she used her weapon to gun him down, and then Emily as she also got up. This more than terrified the couple, and they started to ask the question, "Are we all infected?" With a lot of doubt in their hearts, the couple did not take time disposing this of the Andersons' corpses. And in the morning, after Karen decides it's time to live their best life since they didn't really know how long they had to live, she offers John some pills, and they make love for the first time in a while. After a quite exciting, intimate moment, the couple takes a warm bath and smokes a joint.
I've been thinking.
At this point, they were ready to open each other's hearts again, as Karen tells him that if they ever get through all this, she wants to adopt a child, and John tells her that he has always loved her and reassures her that they will get over all this lunacy and rekindle their marriage once more.
Let's get reacquainted.
To start things off, John asks his wife on a date so they can get to reacquaint with one another. They have a delightful time in their home, they set candles, and John talks about himself, about how he felt lost in their marriage after he fell for Karen, and things didn't go their way. He went on to speak about life and all the lessons he learned and admitted to all the wrongs he did, how he withdrew from the love of his life and hid behind his work as a teacher. After all of this, he spoke of how now happiness can be determined by what he has and not by what he can't have since the world is ending. And he wants to keep the thing that matters most, and what they both need is just another chance. After everything was said and the wine was poured, the couple retired to the bedroom to enjoy one another, but before they could, they hear a knock on the door.
Who is it?
Rescue team, Mom. We're here to bring you up.
Karen, very excited by the prospect of being saved, rushed to the door even though John told her to stop. And unfortunately for them, it was a bunch of thugs who came to take anything they could get. As Karen opened the door, she is slapped to the ground, and now they were both being held at knife point. The looters ask for supplies, but they then decide that they would rather settle with having their way with Karen.
Yeah, maybe we should.
And so as the two goons held John in the other room, the leader drags Karen to the bedroom. Too bad for this scumbag, though. The moment he turned his back on Karen, she stabbed his neck with a knife and gutted him like the pig he is. His friends come back, hearing the commotion, but John was behind them, and he had his gun to finish the job by shooting both down. And again, we see the couple disposing of human corpses. Things start to look gloomy until they all of a sudden hear a broadcast from the outside as rescue helicopters pass by, telling residents to come by the window and to not go outside. The couple makes as much sound as they could, but nobody could hear them. They try to go down the hallway to maybe go outside and call the helicopters, but the hallway was swarming with infected zombies. And at this point, they have minimal supplies, and their hope and excitement start to dwindle. John tries to calm Karen and tells her that they will regroup, and come tomorrow they will act. After a couple of hours, tomorrow does come, and John had all the weapons ready as they were now going to fight their way out of the building.
Just jump, keep going.
They prepare and at the door profess their love to one another and head out to meet their fate. Looking in from the outside, we hear gunshots and a struggle, and after a couple of hours, they come back running as they realize they could not make it through the horde of infected. With their spirits broken and morale low, fate, as it seems, had more dire news to offer. As Karen goes on to tell John that while they were outside, apparently one of the zombies had bitten her on her leg. It was truly heartbreaking for John to see this, but even this did not break him. He was not going to let some virus take away the love of his life. Far-fetched ideas and possibilities begin to come out of his mouth. Maybe she won't turn unless she dies like the Andersons. And even if maybe there is a pharmaceutical company that's coming to cure them and provide the cure to make money. Hearing all this, Karen takes it at face value because at this point, it was all they had. They try to keep their cool, but in the morning, things start to intensify as Karen wakes from a horrible nightmare and feels something she has never felt before. A hunger, a deep-seated need for something she can't explain.
Something grown inside me. A hunger. Just...
To see if she is indeed turning, John cuts his hand and pours his blood into a glass, asking his now semi-zombie wife to drink it and see if she likes it. And after a big gulp, with almost no hesitation, it works. Karen feels a tiny bit full as her husband's blood has now nourished her. Delusion and desperation set in. John decides that he will keep feeding his wife some of his blood until help in whatever form arrives. He was not about to give up, and Karen gives him the day to wait and see if someone, if anyone, would arrive to save them. The day keeps going on, and in the afternoon, after things start to look dark, John tells a story to the wife he is about to lose. He speaks of her getting pregnant and about the time they will have when they get to have their daughter back again.
Firstborn child.
As time passes, Karen takes a bath, and to soothe the hunger of his now ailing wife, John brings her a glass full of his blood, as it was now the only thing he could offer her. Minute after minute, night came, and for one last time, the couple lit candles and crawled into bed together to make love one last time. The next morning, John wakes in a cold bed to a letter in the bathroom that recounted all the love Karen felt for him and a confession of how he made her fall for him once more and the memories she will cherish forever. But unfortunately, the bite has taken over her, and she now begs him to end her nightmare and put a stop to her pain. Walking into the other room, John finally sees that his wife has become a zombie and has tied herself down before she turned just so she wouldn't hurt him. The decision is clear, and John was ready to make it. All of a sudden, though, someone arrives. It was the rescue team who bang open the door, go room to room, and witness something they have never seen before. It was true love that they saw. It was John and Karen, only neither were dead or alive, but both now zombies with their hands duct taped together, waiting for a miracle or for someone to put them out of their misery. Reality, though, as it seems, was much more bitter, and apparently there was no cure, and the rescue team was ordered to take out any and all infected. At the end, all we hear is the sound of machine guns, finally ending the story as both John and Karen finally rest.